In today's video, I'm going to give you a no-nonsense approach to recording electric guitar on any budget. Over the years, I've managed to record electric guitar in a number of different ways, not only for my own albums, but also for other people's albums that I've produced here in Melbourne, Australia. Now, I'm going to go from least expensive to most expensive and show you how maybe similar they all are in the context of a mix. You're going to hear these with a backing track. You're going to hear all of these produced as of right now as well. So hopefully this video is helpful. If you do enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. Let's get into it. All right, let's kick it off. Now, the first thing I should mention as well is this list assumes you've already got an audio interface or a sound card for your computer. If you don't, I'll leave some links below. Now, this first one is maybe the most obvious, and this is just to get a microphone. You can get any number of different microphones, but one of the ones I recommend just based on sound quality and performance is this. This is the new Behringer SL75C, or it's new as of filming this. I purchased this a few weeks back, and I was stunned just how great it stood up next to the Shure SM57. The build quality is great, the handling noise is low. It can handle a really loud signal, so it's perfect for recording a guitar amplifier or even snare drums or anything loud. It will just sound great. Let's see how it sounds. Now, this second method is one that I've used personally to produce my own albums. I'll never forget this. I had my friend Dr. Rick over here. We were tracking an album, an original album, and we had all kinds of boutique amps sitting on the floor. And then we ended up recording with these because it was just so much easier, and we could also control the volume and also run our pedal board into it as well, and then run a reverb pedal after it or anything like that, and just get some really legit sounding tones. And this is the Joyo American sound. Well, this one says a moon on there, but it's a clone of another pedal. So this is a clone of the Joyo American sound, and the Joyo American sound is a clone of the Tech 21 Blonde. If you can afford the Tech 21 Blonde, go for it. This cost me about $29 on Amazon. It was dirt cheap. I used to have the Joyo one as well. If you've been around for a while, you probably remember those videos. This is an amp in a box. It basically replicates a Fender amplifier. They also make ones for Vox amps, Marshalls, Boogies, all kinds of different ones. They're inexpensive. They sound killer. Let's have a listen. As you can no doubt tell, the Joyo sounds fantastic, but to get the most out of it, I needed more pedals to either stack into it or reverb pedal after it, just to give it that legit sound. So if you want something that's really an all-in-one, that's a very similar pedal, the new NUX Cerberus is an absolute beast. This also has cab simulation you can turn on and off just by hitting this button. I'm looking at my reference monitor, it's back to front. So yeah, you can get just great tones out of it. It's got different outputs on the back, so you can run it straight to your sound card and get some really great sound. So this is a true all-in-one analog and digital device that you can use to track electric guitar. Let's take a listen. This next way of recording is a little bit more complicated, but still a lot easier than some of the other solutions on this list, and you'll get some really great results, and that's to buy something like this. This is the Mooer GE-150, or of course, if you've got a little bit more money to splurge, you can get a bigger one like this. This is the Mooer GE-300. There's also one in the middle called the 200. I've done reviews on all of these. Link will be up in the cards if you want to check out those videos. But this is essentially everything you'll need to record extremely well to the computer. This isn't a great tool for playing live, and I've spoken about that in length. Menu diving in the heat of the moment isn't always a good thing, but for home recording, these things sound unreal, and it also gives you the flexibility, even with the smaller one, to buy third-party IRs or to make them yourself if you so choose. And IR is an impulse response. It's a digital representation of an actual thing. So you can get speaker IRs and load them in here from, say, Celestion, and you'll have the official sound of that speaker in here as a cabinet. It's a really cool technology, and we'll talk a little bit more about that on some of the other units in this list, but I really think this sounds great. Let's check it out. This next solution is by far one of my favorites on this list, and it's something that I've used on my channel over the last few years to no end. It's been just a great solution, not only for recording loud electric guitar, but also for recording bass parts. Anytime I've had to track an album, this thing's been just invaluable. It's a really great solution. So this is the 2-Notes Torpedo Live back here. Now this is a load box and an impulse response sort of setup. So you unplug the speaker from your amplifier with the amplifier currently off. You plug in a cable from the speaker jack into the 2-Notes Torpedo Live, and then it takes the load of the amplifier and it also replaces the speaker digitally as well as the actual microphone. So now, thanks to all these upgrades, this has gotten better over time. You can now set up 2 different microphones in front or around the amplifier and just get some really awesome tones. It's almost indistinguishable from that of having a guitar amplifier just cranked up loud in the room. The only trade-off with any of these digital things is the feedback response is going to be different. So it feels a little bit different in the room, and that's the only thing that you'll notice. I've got the exact same mics I use through the 2-Notes in real life as well, Sennheiser E906 and the Shure SM57, and I can't hear a difference. So let's take a listen. Lastly on this list, and coming in at the most expensive solution for home recording when it comes to electric guitars, is the Kemper profiling amplifier, that big green ugly looking box down there. It's actually a pretty wild recording device. One of its positives over the 2-Notes Torpedo Live is you don't need the amplifier on every time you want to use it. You can simply just click on the Kemper and you'll be good to go, and it will have the same sound that you stored in it when you profiled your amplifier. So the difference between the Kemper and the 2-Notes Torpedo is you need to actually, well, there's a few ways you can use it, but if you want to get your tone, you'll actually have to mic up the amplifier and it will run this test sound through the amp and profile your exact signal chain. So if you've got a clean channel amplifier with your favorite distortion pedal, that's what that will actually just clone. It will give you that in a digital form. These are known as profiles, so it does it extremely well. The main advantage of the Kemper over the 2-Notes is if you like to tinker and you want all the delays, fuzz pedals, distortion pedals, all that kind of stuff built in, noise gates. The Kemper has all of that, but it's also a little overcomplicated for a lot of people as well. It's not the hardest unit to understand, but there's definitely things about the Kemper that will make it probably more elaborate and more in-depth than some of the other digital things you've seen on this list, but the results really speak for itself. If you profile the amp properly, you're going to get some really amazing results. Let's take a listen. So there you have it. You can pretty much record using any different method out there. Now there is one last way which I didn't showcase in this video, and that's because I don't use it personally, and that's using software emulation. There's nothing, I don't have anything against it, I just don't use it personally. I'm using a really old DAW, DAW, digital audio workstation, and the software that I've got just doesn't work well with a lot of the new software out there. My good friend Steve from Boston, I'll leave a link up in the cards, he uses it on every live stream, and he uses THU, and it sounds fantastic. I've used it in person as well when we caught up, and it sounded phenomenal. So you can do that as well, but just make sure you're using the latest software as well, just so you won't have any issues. I want to try that at some point too for myself once I get off this old copy of Nuendo after I finish a few extra projects. But yeah, there's nothing to stop you from using software. There's bias effects out there and plenty of other ones as well to choose from. It's not something that I use personally. Thanks again for watching. I hope this video has been helpful. If it was, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell, all that kind of stuff. Catch you soon. See ya.